Radio Free America. This is Uncle Sam with music and the truth until dawn. Right now, I got a few words for some of our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. The chair is against the wall. The chair is against the wall. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, American. Another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song.
Guys and gals, a gun website.
All right. So welcome everybody to our daily gun show. We come to you live every day at 7 p.m. Eastern. That's 4 Pacific for about an hour or 90 minutes each day. Each day we do 3 gun-related topics. We do different topics throughout the week. Let's see. We run it live on YouTube. We're simulcasting it over at gunchannels.com, where we're watching the comments that are coming in from the people that watch the show live. When it's all over, we take the audio occasionally and post it over at iTunes as a podcast. So we appreciate everybody that's watching the show now or in the future, and that leaves us feedback out there. We really do appreciate it. If you do that every single day, we would respect that favor. The goal is to let people know where we are out there and to get the show recommended to more listeners. We do get a lot of people listening to the show, but we'd like to see that number grow, and we can do that only with your help. There's no way we can pay for that or do any kind of magical stuff on our end. It takes participation. So we really do appreciate the people that do us that favor. There's 4 hosts. 3 of us are here on Fridays. We got Bob jumping in from Canada. Thanks for joining.
Hey, glad to be here.
And then we got Smeggy jumping in from Michigan.
Hey, how's everyone doing today?
Does that have anything to do with Michelin tires? Michigan and Michelin? Coincidence?
Sure.
A lot of cars come out of Michigan. Then I'm down here in Arizona, which has nothing to do with any tire companies. So I see Clover's out there. I haven't talked to him today. Any word on the account situation over there? I guess we can see Cycle out there. It's like the new trend for us to acknowledge everyone who makes a comment in the YouTube side. It's like the new thing. It's like the selfie of live chats. So
well, if that's the case, I'm going to shout out Clover and Mel over on Gun Channels.
Exactly, which is a lot of people say, rightfully so, the better platform than that when you put them next to YouTube. Oh, we got Mid-TN Outdoors out there. He's been out there since the beginning. Pants, Phoenix, so forth. You're all
other people's.
You're all acknowledged. You're welcome. So we will continue on with the what do we do? We normally talk about the show for a minute here. It's episode 385. We're going to be talking about gun tech because it's Friday. This is when we solve everything. During the week, we might fart around. Sure, we solve the laws on Tuesday, and then we solve the entertainment industry on Wednesdays. On Thursdays, we take a break and just harden up. We train up and get down to business and train. And then on Fridays, we solve the industry. So we keep the industry strong and making a bunch of money. So with that goal, we will be talking about gun tech. Are lever guns still relevant? Gun business. Today, what gun sales work best? Which are the sales techniques that make you buy guns? And then for our alt topic, because we like to do a crazy off-the-wall topic each week, today it'll be have each moderator describe their favorite gun match and then vote on the best one. So I think that means like competitive shooting sports.
I think so.
So we will basically pick and judge the best competitive shooting sport today. So we will solve that for you. If you are having some kind of question about which shooting sport, at the end of today, you'll know which shooting sport. We do a gun shop
battle royale.
Oh yeah, except that there'll be only one winner. We do a gun shop of the day, a gun movie of the day, gun of the day, things like that. But before we get into all this, before we even start, we like to take a break at the beginning of the show here, and we like to talk about whatever happened overnight, and I don't know, whatever might have happened since yesterday, I guess.
I have something that at least just came to my attention. I don't know if it necessarily happened yesterday or earlier today, but the decision in DC about like the may issue, a shall issue, all that stuff, it came down as a pro-gun thing, where basically they were like, hey, you can't use this just cause requirement So that was good, but they've already appealed it into a en blanc, which means there's like more judges, and most of the time it ends up not going as well the second time around, which is not really a surprise. Even the Second Amendment Foundation, who put the lawsuit in the first place, was assuming that they would have to fight it a couple different times. But that is something that it at least is official. They're going back to the courts, and they're holding off on any decision until the en blanc figures out what they want to do.
Okay.
So, some of that happened.
Yeah. No, that's a good point.
Which law was this?
It was for the permit requirement. You have to have a like just cause or just reason or something, whatever that wording is.
Zapruder or whatever?
No, not that one. It was for DC.
Okay.
But basically the 3-panel judge basically said you have to switch over to shall issue. Like you can't have this requirement of, this just reasoning or good reasoning or whatever. And then they've now appealed that. So it's back in limbo.
Then what's Robbie saying over here about the good guys in California figured out a loophole in the California AR registry, call it featureless?
Well, I think I don't know if that's anything new. I think we've all known if you just get rid of the pistol grip and all the other things, then you don't have to register.
Okay.
I think, unless there's some new thing, but I think that's what he's talking about. But other than that, Clovertac had a show last night over on the Gun Websites channel because his channel got shut down. Well, not necessarily shut down, but he's not allowed to do live chats for 3 months or whatever.
Yeah, he got blacklisted from doing live events, which is weird. And he's saying in an update here, if I'm reading it correctly, that it shows a copyright violation because he's using music from the YouTube video library, which is, as a person who's posting on YouTube, they give you access to a big library of music that is supposedly free to use. That's what it's there for, so that you can use it. So they're saying that by using it, he violated copyright. And if that's the case, then that's just a technical glitch. It's not recognizing its own music. So he says if that's the case, then he should be good to go, but he doesn't know, so he's still staying hopeful.
Right. Well, I'm thinking that because he said he has a copyright in one place now, I think all the other places are still, marked inappropriate or whatever. So maybe there's two things going on. But, Pants volunteered my service for making an intro song, and I'll say, yeah, sure, I'll do it for you. If you want to scare all your viewers away.
Yeah.
But other than that, it was a pretty good chat, though. It's still posted on the Gun Channel's Clovertac site. I don't know what else happened.
All right, well, I guess we'll dig into the show then. Yankee had a show, didn't he?
Yeah. He did. I watched some of that.
And then, I guess Tack Daddy had a show. I didn't watch that one. Something else was happening.
Yep. Yeah, I didn't watch that one either, but those ones I tend to catch after the fact.
So, all right, well, so
anyways, there's always good stuff around. So let's hit it. Let's solve the world.
So first, we're going to do gun tech. Are lever guns still relevant? Yes.
Yes.
Well, I was going to say yes also, but now I'm going to say no. I mean, what's so good about it? Why not just use a semi-auto?
Just to be contrarian.
Yeah, well, I'll play devil's advocate. I mean, I don't like to say anything's like bad and not relevant, but I guess realistically, yeah. Why is what's so good about a lever action? What advantages do you get using a lever versus just using a semi-auto or a bolt or
Band proof, number one, pretty much. Number two, it's non-threatening to other people. Doesn't look scary. Number three is it shoots a darn good caliber. I mean, even just your regular 30-30, that's got a lot of punch. And they're real short and handy generally, and quite rapid fire. And you can keep your eye on target while you rack the lever. And yeah, they're still quite a viable, both defense as well as just fun shooting rifle.
and you can wear your cowboy boots and hat while using it. Thank you, Mel. That's a good point. I mean, as far as the band proof or whatever, I mean, I guess in some way, but you know, and not being scary looking and whatnot. There are plenty of semi-autos that, you know, wood stock just look like a regular old rifle, and it just so happens to be semi-auto. I don't think those are scary looking, and most of the time they don't have detachable magazines, so they're probably not going to get banned either. So why not just use the semi-auto so you can keep your hand, you know, on the gun, keep your finger near the trigger, and have quick follow-up shots.
Low capacity. Lever guns generally have quite large capacity for a rifle, for a centerfire rifle.
Wait, did Bob say that lever guns have higher capacity than what? A bolt?
Well, then a bolt that doesn't have a detachable magazine, like your standard bolt gun or semi-automatic.
Your 4-round lever has an extra round than your 2-round bolt, but it's not like it's going to win over a removable mag.
You can have a lever gun with, like, you know, 11 38 specials or, you know, 9 357 magnums too.
Well, I was going to say that Cycle Camp said one of the things on the YouTube side that they tend to be shorter, but not if you go to the full length one like you're talking about to get that kind of capacity. But if you go to a short one, you're definitely getting a short gun, but you're losing capacity.
You're still going to have more than generally a bolt action, though. And it's a much faster action, and generally they're, like, say, short, handy.
I mean, I don't go around comparing a lever action to a bolt action. It's like comparing a...
I was going by Smeggy, and he was actually comparing it to semi-auto hunting rifles.
What advantage do you have over a semi-auto, though? None.
Well, you got your one in that it's a lot easier if you get a misfire or something. It's a heck of a lot easier to just rack that lever again and slam another round in than it is with.
I'll give you that, but how often does that even happen?
Well, not that often, but it is an advantage.
Yeah, but an advantage is something that happens like once in your lifetime. Who cares?
Lever actions are quite reliable as well.
I guess my problem with lever is that you got to go through all that action, you know. At least compared to a bolt, it's way better. But compared to semi, I mean, I don't remember too many semis that have problems. So semi's going to get you way better follow up, and you don't have to fiddle around and take it off your shoulder and all that.
Don't have to with a lever gun either.
Most people are going to be readjusting their business to rock a lever, especially on a full caliber gun where you got a full action, not like some little 22 where you barely have to move the lever.
Just got to learn how to use it.
Yeah, whatever. Some of those you have to rock that lever down and forward really far, especially your mark you love so much.
And if you're using it for hunting or something, and you, depending on how you're set up behind a blind, or maybe you're sitting on a rest or something behind a tree stump and all this, you might not have that, space to rack the lever and still stay on target if you have a follow-up shot. Isn't that kind of the thing where they came up with it for military stuff, right? When they're laying prone, that's why they invented bolt action, or at least one of the advantages of bolt action.
Well, that was one.
It was first, so they didn't invent bolt action after that. They invented semi-auto because levers was a pain in the ass.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, but I would say that's about the same argument as Bob's, because I mean, I guess that's a possibility. But you get yourself into a hunting situation like that. I mean, you'll very often like have to run over to a hunting position to get yourself situated. So don't get yourself situated where you can't move your elbow. But I still say that's its weakness is having to lever it. So what about stopping power? What about pressure or whatever? Won't lever handle way more ammo, power of ammo than a semi, little wimpy semi? So if you're talking about
I don't know, maybe.
Well, if you're talking about something like theirs and you want a really big round in there, I got to assume a real lever made out of metal is going to hold a bigger round than some like AR thing.
Yeah. I mean, you can get 45-70s and levers. You can get even bigger stuff. But I don't know. You can make a semi-automatic that can take some pretty heavy shit too.
This is a hard question for Bob to fathom, because if we were talking grizzly bears or something, 22 is plenty for him.
Well, yeah, that's all you need. You got to be real close then. So just, you got to learn to run up behind them, sneak up behind them so they don't hear you, and then just poke that behind their ear. And then a 22 works pretty good for bears.
Well, here's something that you're swaying my way to going towards relevant, even though I said I was just playing devil's advocate anyways, because I think the more the merrier. Have them all. But Pants is bringing up they're one of the few rifles that you can hunt deer with in his area, because there are some places that the only rifle you're allowed to use is a straight-walled cartridge, and most lever actions are set up for straight-walled cartridges that are powerful enough to take a deer down, whereas like a bolt rifle or even a semi-auto is, going to be tapered in some way. Not that you can't get those in straight-walled, but they're more common in the lever action. Which is part of the reason actually why I want a lever action. One, to play with, and then two, if I ever go hunting in the restricted zone of Michigan, because up north you can use whatever, down south and out west you have to use either shotguns or straight-walled. If I ever have the opportunity to go out in the middle of nowhere, I'd have something I could use.
So the whole point, of course, of this segment of the show is to encourage everyone to buy a lever gun. So let us know in the comments if you're going to buy either number one or a 22 lever action, or B, the 38 357, or C, 44 Magnum, or what's next? D, the what would be next? 30-30, and then should we just say E, something bigger, or do we want to add another caliber over 30-30?
45-70. That's real popular right now for lever guns.
Okay, so we got A is 22, B is 38 357, C is, I forgot what C was.
44.
44. D is 30-30, and then we got 45-70, and then the wild card X would be something bigger. So you all have to buy a lever action. There's no choice in the matter. That's how it is here in the gun community. You have to buy what you're told, and then you do get the option, the freedom to exercise of what caliber you're going to get. We'll see what people say.
Let's see. We got a 4570. Cycle Camp hedging his bet, saying 44 mag, comma 357.38. What the heck, dude? But that's cool. I guess he's buying 2.
You can buy 2. As long as you buy 1, then you're okay.
I say 357. Robbie's saying 327 mag.
Oh.
Cycle already has a bunch, apparently. Another 4570. Let's see what's going on YouTube. Bunch of big boys out there. 500 nitros.
500 nitros. They're trying to prove something.
Which one's bigger, 500 Smith & Wesson or 500 nitro? I think nitro's like more power, right?
500 nitro is a monster.
Wait a minute. There's 2 Seans? Is Ponery and Callahan 2 different people?
Well, they sure do talk the same, but the only difference between the two is Ponery says Smith & Wesson and Callahan says 500 nitro.
I guess all those black and white icons look the same to me. I thought they were the same dude.
They definitely have similar taste.
Uh-huh.
Now Sean's saying, man, everyone's like hedging their bets like crazy, so...
Look at all these 30-30s coming up. Wait a minute. Mid-TN Outdoors and Midnight Range TM are 2 separate channels?
I guess so.
Dyslexia.
I'm so confused.
All right. Well, I'm not seeing very much except for 30-30 over on the YouTube side and a bunch of 45-70 on the gun channel side.
Yeah, I guess so.
Well, here's the surprise. Everybody reach underneath your chair. There's lever action down there, or maybe the lever to your recliner, or some other kind of lever. Whatever you put down there. All right, so I guess we'll move on.
I found a hairball. That's not a lever action.
It's possible with our audience that when we tell them to reach down underneath their chair, somebody's pulling out a lever action. That was all I'm saying.
That is very possible.
Yes, actually, that's true. Or some kind of gun, anyway.
Midnight Range is saying if you hit the lotto, you do a 500 BMG.
That just would be the craziest damn thing I'd ever imagine.
Well, I'm guessing that means 50 BMG lever.
Yeah.
But have you seen the Alaskan guide ones that break in half and they're super big, like 500 whatever nitro, I guess? Have you seen them in real life? Have you seen them?
Yeah, I'm at SHOT Show.
Okay, good. I was gonna say those things are super cool. Yeah, I fell in love with those whenever I first started going to SHOT Show, and then when I figured out those things exist.
Yeah, they're an impressive gun.
Let's see. All right, well, lots of participation over on the YouTube side, so appreciate that. Gun channel side, come on, let's keep up. A lot more stuff happening on YouTube side today. So I guess we're moving along into the next segment of the show. We have solved gun technology. We have proven that lever actions are still relevant, and we've also proven that 30-30s and 45-70s are the favorite rounds of our audience.
30. I just it's such a it's so common around here. I guess that's why.
30-30. It's super adequate. It's like the 9mm of rifle rounds.
I know. Everybody's got them around here. That's like every farmer's got one or two stashed in their closet or in the barn or somewhere behind the seat of their pickup truck.
So we're going to head into the gun biz. We're going to solve it right real quick here. What gun sales work best? Start thinking about that. We got a little bit of lag here, so you could start throwing some suggestions in there. What kind of sales work best, or you think work best for you or in your area? And while we do that, let's talk about gun channels. Gun channels is a place we built a while back. It's a community focused on firearms. It's driven by its members, completely run by its members. With that in mind, we feature a member here on the show every day. And there's been a theme to this week, and I don't remember who everybody was. So let's see. Thursday was restricted. Wednesday was Jock. Tuesday was Yoder, Texas, and Monday was PBR Street Gang. So there's been a theme this week. PBR Street Gang, Yoder, Texas, Jock, and then today, if I flip over to here, is Jimmy. So not Jimmy Early Watch Jimmy, but Jimmy C. I have no idea how to say that. How do you say that?
Carbajal? I don't know.
I don't know how to say it either. So I'm not gonna.
Carbajal?
So anyway, there was a theme to this week, and thanks, Jimmy. I don't know if I recognize the name from maybe text chats. It's hard to say because a text chat would probably say like Jimmy C or Jimmy. You know what I mean? It wouldn't put the full name out there when there's a space like that. So if you think you know what the theme or what these members had in common, then let us know, and we'll see if you win something amazing. Too
I have
bad.
absolutely no guesses, and also I'm not familiar with this Jimmy. So if he's listening, sorry, dude. I don't recognize the name. I'm sure he's cool though. I'll give that.
Well, he must be if he's a member of Gun Channel.
All right, so with that, we can move along. So we do try to feature a member, and some people have accused us of repeating the same members every day or every week or every so often. So there you go. Go ask Jimmy if he's ever been featured before. So we'll talk about the gun biz. What gun sales work best?
What gun sales work best? The ones that you get free guns.
So seriously, like some kind of like you buy a gun, you get a ticket in a raffle, and then we give a gun away once a month or something?
Oh no, I was joking. Like the thing's 100% off. Just trying to get a gun store to give me a gun. But no, I think raffles are kind of cool. Yeah, I don't know which ones work best because I always kind of just buy whatever I wanted to buy. Like if it's cheaper, okay, awesome. But I rarely go in being like, I don't really plan on buying something. Oh, look, a sale, I guess I'll buy it. That's not really my MO. So I don't know. I don't really have a good answer. What about you, Bob? What entices you to buy something? What type of sale?
I'm going to have to say, really, it comes down to price in a lot of cases. Like a really good price on something, kind of the firehouse sale, or whatever they call it. Yeah, that'll get me to buy a gun right away.
Yeah, I like this one. Well, Sean Ponery asked, has there ever been a buy one, get one? And Clover saying Academy did one a few years ago. And he said he bought like 9 guns in 2 days, which I'm not sure if you understand how buy one, get one works, but you should have walked away with an even number. So you left a free one sitting on the counter.
Oh, man. That's what happens. You know, if you're buying too many guns, that can happen.
No, you buy 9 guns and you walk away with 18.
Oh, that's what he's saying. Okay.
Maybe that. I'm trying to think if I've ever bought a gun and got a gun. It's happened, but not like a sale. But like, you know, I've bought guns before and then they've gone like, oh, here, you can just have this gun. They're usually broke or something. But there is something.
They're saying free shipping. That mail-in rebates suck.
Well, I was trying to say before Smeggy talked right on top of me that there's something to be said for being a good customer at your local shop, because then they, like I say, I've had guns where they're like, yeah, we got this one in a trade and it's broke and it's a pain in the ass, so we know you like broke stuff here, and they've given it to me. So that's just hanging out and being a pest. just the right amount of pest where they know who you are and what you like and what you're looking for, and then you bring them pizza or donuts once in a while, and you can get that kind of treatment. It's all about prices, though. Nothing like free range time if it's got a range or something, or maybe, I don't know, it's Christmas time or something, they do some kind of toys for kids or something.
Right. Yeah, and that's what I was going to mention. It actually is the tossing in, some extra stuff is always nice. Like maybe, like you said, a range. Maybe they give you a box of ammo and a half hour at the range or whatever. So then you can pick it up and go shoot it.
So if I buy a gun at a range or at a gun shop that has a range and I don't get free range time, I don't buy the gun and I boycott the store.
Now, boycotts never work. You know that.
Nope, always work. Always boycott. Straight to boycott. All right, but I'm seeing a lot of pricing, and I quote, I agree with Gary that mail-in rebates suck. I think that's one of them scams where they put that on there knowing that people are they're gonna bank on people going, oh yeah, and then never fill it in. And that I'm sure happens. I'm sure that's why they do it. Unless they're the kind of rebates where it happens at the counter. Sometimes you get those where, they just hand you the extra cash back and the store gets the reimbursement.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing is, and I won't attribute, evil doing to this, but a lot of times, even if you do send in the rebate, and it's going to take 6 months or 9 months or whatever, and you end up never getting it, I want to say because of accidents, stuff falls through the cracks. Most people forget they even have it coming. And they think about it after, like, oh yeah, I was supposed to have gotten $50 back like a year ago. And by that time, they're like, oh, sorry, it's too late. And sometimes they take care of you. But I think they could do that also. They're definitely banking on people not filling it out. But there's also that chance that they just never process it and people don't complain because they forget about it.
Well, to that end, I'll say that I've seen so much infrastructure on those, and they've got so much to lose by not doing it. I just happened to have had a summer job fulfilling them for McDonald's one time, so I got to see a little bit of the back end and all the structure that I never knew was really there. But people can sue them for stuff if they say something and then don't have way to prove that they were ready to fulfill it. That they basically hire third parties, like this place I worked at, and they have everything legit. So if they're giving away a car, the car's sitting there, and all the other prizes are there, and then the whatever randomness is happening and the stuff is getting shipped out and all that. So I would say that if they're doing something, I doubt too many reputable companies are banking on, throwing away a bunch of stuff and hoping people don't complain.
Right. Yeah. I'm not like I said, I wasn't trying to say they do it on purpose, but I have seen, not getting it, but they fulfill once you call them up. But I'm just saying
that's what I'm saying.
Forget to even call them up.
They follow through 100%, but they bank on people not following through. Like that, I'm sure they've engineered it to be like attractive enough of a like, oh, it's no big deal. You just fill out this form and send it in, and that's like enough for people to trigger and go, oh, I could do that. I'll do that. I'll do this. Okay, that's a challenge. I'll accept. And then they know that it's like just enough that people are going to put it in something and forget about it, and then not do it. Then it was just enough of a filling out something or having to go find something in that form to that makes them not follow through.
Right. Anyhow, like, oh man, I gotta. I'll get that
my routing number
tomorrow.
Yeah, you make them look for your routing number and their bin. So now they got to walk around for like, I'll do this later. Anyway, so
well, I know one thing that my local range does is if you rent a gun from them, like went during the buying process, and let's say you rent a few different ones, and then you end up buying something, they'll give you like basically give you the money back for 3 different rental charges, which I think are like $10 or something. But still, you get $30 off the gun if you've been there 3 times and rented something. So I thought that's kind of neat.
I've seen stuff like that, or with the cards. I haven't seen them where you get like a punch card at a range or something, and then once you get like 10 punches, the next range trip is free or something. Your targets are free or something, or some kind of so you get something. Yep. Maybe that card then becomes like a 10% off coupon when it's fully punched or something. That would be a way to do it.
Oh, yeah, that would be a good idea. I haven't seen that. There's only the one range near me does the thing you get the money off the gun if you have the receipts for the rental, and the other one had punch cards, but they got rid of them, and it was just you get a free range session.
But you're saying you bring in your receipts from being at the range. They add up those receipts and then take that money off your gun?
Yeah, up to 3 rental charges. So if you only go once, you only get $10 off, but if you go 3 times, you get $30 off.
No, that's still very cool. And that's not that difficult to keep your receipts for 3 things.
Right. And I like the idea because they're encouraging people to like, hey, rent a few different things, because they're one of the ones too. Once you pay one rental fee, you can shoot a gun 1 round and say, yeah, I'm going to trade this for something different. It's just you have it for the hour. You can have as many as you want during that hour. So you could try almost every gun they had in the store and then say, oh, I like this one. And then you buy it and they give you money off.
Well, first off, I don't know what Cycle on the YouTube side is saying. Guns are not donuts. What does that mean?
I have no idea.
With the lag, I don't know what you're referring to there, but he capitalized it, so he's referring to something. I was going to ask, have you heard of a situation where a gun shop gets together with, I'm going to say a restaurant, or I think it could work with some other service or some other local. But if you got like a mom and pop shop that hooked up with a restaurant, and every time you buy a gun, you get like a meal or something. Anybody seen something like that? Because that's the kind of I've seen something not as elaborate. I've seen if you go buy a gun, they give you a thing of ice cream, and I've seen that work. Like having an ice cream freezer. I live in Arizona, but I've seen having an ice cream freezer by the door, and they'll do an ad or whatever. They say, buy a gun, you get ice cream on your way out. I've seen that work. Like I've seen people happy with that. But I'm wondering if with like maybe a pizza place or with a restaurant or something, you get like 1 meal free when you buy one, get one or something. Because that's the kind of thing where there's margin there. You can, as a gun shop, make a trade with a restaurant, buy X amount of meals from them, at half price or whatever it turns out to be, whatever kind of arrangement they make. But do you think that would be the kind of thing that would get people to sort of like to buy something, get a steak dinner? Big things used to be back in the day.
Some people are just happy to get a cup of coffee.
Yeah, that's true. Well, with a fancy cup of coffee, you could give somebody like a 5-card stamp or something, or like, here's a stamp for the coffee place across the parking lot, but here's 5 stamps in it because you bought a gun with us. Or like, here's 7 out of the 10 stamps in it or something, so you make some arrangement where I don't know, I'm thinking of ways that we can, if we're talking to gun shops here, trying to make gun shops stay in business, what we can give them as customers and expert marketing people, to stay in business. Some tips.
Yeah, or just tip some to the customers that we talk to, the general gun buying public.
Here's something else that it's totally off topic, but my dog's over here farting, so he made me look over and think of this. What about name a gun shop that has a dog walking around that isn't like everyone's favorite gun shop? Like, I can't think of a gun shop ever where there wasn't, that had a dog that wasn't one of my favorite gun shops. And I think even sometimes if a gun shop is even medium, they get better when there's a dog walking around that you can pet. So what if they did something like what Yankee does, where they take a, cat shelter, like a no-kill shelter, or a dog walking service, or, they work with some sort of a dog charity, and then, make it a thing. Like, every time you buy a gun here, 10% of our something goes to this charity. This is our under our wing type of organization or support.
Or you just get to adopt that dog for the day.
Yeah. Or maybe
for gun owners. So,
maybe they foster dogs, and then people who come in go, oh, that's a cool dog. And they can go, oh, you know, we support this group that, you know, rescues dogs, and this is actually a rescue dog, and we're fostering them. And if you wanted to adopt him, you could.
I don't know, because if you're really being legit about it as a business owner, I think having a bunch of puppies in front, it could be good and bad. It's a double-edged sword, because that guy who comes in with his kids to look at your gun shop and to try to leave some money in your door, in your cash register, to keep you in business, you know, I can think of a couple of guys like this that'll, if I'm hanging out at a gun shop on a Saturday or a Sunday, well, mostly Saturday because they're all closed on Sunday. If I'm hanging out at a gun shop on a Saturday where it's a day where people are off work and they can just mosey around and do their thing, maybe drop off their wives down the street and they've got, you know, X amount of time before they got to pick her up kind of thing. And sometimes they got some kids in tow, and depending on the age or whatever, you know, they're paying attention to them or not. If you had a bunch of dogs sitting out front, puppies that were, oh, we're going to kill these puppies if you don't take them. If you don't buy one of these puppies off us, we're going to kill them or whatever. And they're telling that to your kids. I could see that being the kind of thing where, like, guess what gun shop I'm never going back to, you know, or I got my kids. I can't risk going to that gun shop today. What if they got freaking puppies out front again, or kittens or something? So I could see having the actual puppies as being a real double-edged sword, unless your clientele are dog hoarders and you know that they're going to appreciate having a bunch of puppies they can scoop up. I think you're just putting a bunch of puppies out there to get transmit just diseases, and then basically could be running off customers. But I think,
but at least having a steady dog, you know, like the owner's dog or whatever, that'd be fine.
Well, that's different. Yeah, when you're not trying to tell people that there's an ultimatum and this dog's life is at stake. But I'm talking, if you're just like, hey, we support this no-kill animal shelter, and a portion of our sales go to that no-kill animal shelter, that's the way somebody who likes animals can be like, oh, I feel good about coming in here. And, you know, that's like what I guess I was getting at as a shop owner. Maybe there's something like that. I would say, you know, I see a lot of the, like, what do you call them, little pieces of wood with the metal plaques, I guess, or whatever, the thank you things that people or gun shops will get from, like, little league teams or 4-H groups or scout troops that say, like, thanks for supporting us or something, when they do their fundraising drives, or when they maybe do something and they offer them like a gift certificate or a product or something to put in a raffle. I see those kind of things, but I don't even see people really acknowledging that. It's not like, too many shops don't even seem to be that proud of them. They'll put them up sometimes, but not somewhere where somebody can see them. You know, they're not going to take good real estate at eye level and be real proud of that stuff, which is kind of annoying. I would kind of think that, you know, if the shops were all competing for, you know, the groups in town and who they're supporting, you know, then that could be another way to get sales. You know, okay, if I support this shop, I'm also supporting the local youth shooting group. If I support that shop, I'm also supporting the police canines. If I support that shop, you know, I'm supporting the youth group or something, scout troop.
Yeah, but I want to revisit something from back when you said, Cycle said they're not donuts. He was referring to the punch card things, but I also want to acknowledge Clover Tack's response where he says he buys them 12 at a time, so guns kind of are like donuts.
Yeah.
So I think everyone should do that. If you like donuts, you should always buy 12 guns at a time.
If you have not at some point bought 12 guns at one time, then put that on your list of shit to try and experience that at some point. It's fun to buy,
especially because you should get a baker's dozen, right? I mean, they should toss one in for free.
If you're gonna get a free gun, buying 12 at one time from one person is definitely one of the best ways to try to get towards that. But yeah, buying 6 guns at one time is neat, but buying more than 10 guns at one time is definitely an experience, and it's not that expensive. You can do that for cheap, really. You really just do it for the experience of it. And then you have a 4473 out there with 10 or more serials on it. That's kind of cool. There should be a badge for that on gun channels. or having 10 or more serials on a 4473. Take a picture, and then
Yeah.
All right. So keep in mind, you don't always have to buy working guns. Government says anything with a receiver is a gun, so you can buy parts and buy 10 guns at one time. Maybe not do that on the border unless you want to knock on the door. Unless you are making content and you want to knock on the door. I probably should have filmed it when the police come. Usually it's not something you're like, hey, let me pull out my video camera.
Oh, hey, Jerry, how's it going today? How's the wife and kids? Yep, just me again.
Just 10 this time. I'm surprised they sent you out for this one. All right, well, we've destroyed the show today. So where are we at? 447. Why don't we say that we've solved the gun business, even though
I think we have. Those are some pretty good ideas.
And then we'll move along to the alternative gun topic, or maybe one of the other topics of the day. But before we do, we're going to take a break, and we're going to talk about the Gun Show Loophole Tour. So I've got just a few more days left on it. Whenever I started it, I looked out at the calendar, and the next cool thing that was going to happen was the Skynet becoming self-aware in 1997. Of course, that happens on August 29th. So that turned out to be next Tuesday. So that's when the project will end. Right now, we are up over $1,000, and I'm talking and trying to click at the same time, and that's not working. So it'll take a second to wait for my computer to catch up, and then I will drop the link over here. So we reached the $1,000 mark yesterday sometime, so I appreciate that. Everybody who's participating in it, both looking financially and by sharing it. That's how it gets more people to participate, by sharing it around there, letting more people know about it. And the patches are all ordered, so everything now should be gas in the tank. There's not much really that needs to be done to the van. A couple of parts here and there, maybe some brakes, but nothing expensive. So pretty much everything that still gets accumulated here in the next 4 days, it says, will all be gas. So we've got a couple of routes in mind. In fact, I just paid down payment on the decks earlier today, so I should be getting an email. I've been kind of bouncing around back and forth here looking at emails. I should be getting an email at some point to let me know when they're going to go to the printer. So then we can start scheduling out the first legs of the tour. That'll coincide with when the project ends, and patches are probably almost in the mail to me already. I doubt they'll be here when it ends on Tuesday, but I wouldn't be surprised if they got here sometime next week, probably the week after at the latest. So the patches will go up pretty close to the end of it. That'll also give me a whole bunch of extra patches to take around with me. So as I go to these gun shops and stuff, we can leave them with patches as a thank you. So anyway, that's the our plug. We don't really try to make money on the show. We don't have sponsors. We're not trying to sell you nothing other than the adventure. So if you want to keep the adventure going, and really that means gas in the tank of the van, then consider jumping over to the Indiegogo there and taking part in the project in the last 4 days. And like I say, sharing it really does go a long way towards getting more people involved. You never know. You share it with somebody who thinks it's great and shares it with that person who, participates in a big way or something. So you can be a big part of that by simply sharing it. So I really do appreciate the people that do that. So you guys want to go into the alt gun topics or one of the other things today?
Oh, let's do the alt gun topics.
Okay.
Dig right into topic 3, which will be have each moderator describe their favorite shooting match. I don't know what gun match game means, and then vote on the best. So I guess we're saying competitive shooting sport, right?
Or do they mean like just games you can play with your friends at the range? Shooting games?
Well, it says their favorite game match or gun match game. So I think gun match means shooting sport, and then game means like what sport of the shooting sports.
Okay. We'll go that.
We talked about just shooting at targets and playing games with targets like twice, I think, already. Recently.
Okay, I'm going to say skeet. Because it's fun, it's action-packed, and it's good at sharpening hand-eye coordination.
All right. Well, I guess I'll go next and say I really like IDPA because it's, defensive oriented. I mean, I know some people can kind of game the system, but it's really designed for people carrying their regular stuff, shooting at, simulated bad guys that are going to come get them. And it's not necessarily a replacement for training, but I like the more realism than some of the other competitive sports that really are just like a sport.
All right, I was clicking on stuff. So what did you say, Spanky?
IDPA.
Oh, okay. Is it my turn then?
Yeah.
All right, so I guess the question is technically, have each moderator, I guess that's us, describe our favorite gun match game and then vote on it. So does that imply it has to be national? Or can it be fairly local?
I don't think, yeah, it could be local if you want. You just might have to describe it more so people know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so Scott brought the axe match down here to Tucson, which was the American ACTS, American Confederation of Tactical Shooters, and that was a 2-gun match, pistol and rifle, no stupid shotgun because shotguns are for show. And it was more of an action match, and it was very competitive, and I think competitive is the word. People would have, there was a lot of prizes at the one in Michigan, and people would compete for points and for score because there was prizes at risk or whatever, to be won. So it was very, very practical though, as far as shooting sport. So those aspects of it were attractive to the guys in Tucson. So Scott brought that down. I guess I forget now when, maybe 2000 and I don't remember, like a long time ago. So 5, 4, a long time ago. And he had one at the county range, and the county got really mad that they were running all around downrange, so they banned them. So then they went up to Pima Pistol Club for the second one, and that guy from in range, Carl, who we've had on the show, pretty sure he was one of the like 4 people at the first one where they got kicked out of the county range, and he obviously enjoyed it. I'm pretty sure he's probably attended every single one since. So it's that one that you see on their channels. And after a while, they got sick of Scott running it, so somebody else started running it, and then after a while they got sick of calling it Axe because it wasn't anything like the Michigan version. In fact, I don't think it ever was anything like the Michigan version. We immediately turned it in Tucson into practice with your gear and make sure that your gun's going to work and that your arrangement of mags or something is going to be useful in different scenarios and not just look good in a selfie, but like actually work if you're jumping through a window or something. So it was more of like a useful type of match. And I don't know what they think they call it, like action match or something now. They gave it a different name because they don't call it Axe anymore. But that's what I'm picking. That one is, like you're saying, IDPA is the most like realistic, I think. This one would definitely be the most realistic and the least worried about point systems. But there is points, and people, I think Carl wins all the time.
Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. I have seen when they do like this is what a World War II person would have. Like they grab like the period correct stuff, and that's kind of neat to see. Like how practical it really was, all the stuff that they had.
If they were doing that stuff, I was never in their like squad or whatever you call like the group of people. We always had enough to be our own group of people. So if they every once in a while, Carl would be doing that stuff. I don't think Ian was shooting it back then, or if he was, I never really saw him. But they didn't make such a big deal of it. He would just be wearing a kilt, or no, whatever. He would be wearing like something weird from the olden days and shooting an old gun. But you know, everybody was kind of like, oh, it's interesting, but it wasn't like a big thing. But then I think it's bigger now that they're taking video and stuff.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, I think the videos of that is pretty neat. But
there wasn't much.
Yeah, it sounds cool.
Shooting it with cowboy. I mean, there was people shooting it with cowboys gear on because they were considering it, you know, competition or practice for their cowboy stuff. So there was a lot of different people there, cops in their gear and just regular people in regular clothes.
Yeah, it sounds really cool. I think I'm gonna vote for that one.
Bob, I don't think everyone has seen it.
What? Yeah, I'll vote for that one too.
All right, there you go. So that's the best count. That's the best match. We didn't get any other stuff on the gun channel side. Oh, they're talking about stuff on the YouTube side. Let's see. So
trap 5 stand on the YouTube side.
Trap is the one where it stands. The clays always come out from in front of you and go up and away. So like a ground bird. So what, dove and what would be also be a ground? We don't have them out here. Upland birds, right? And then your skeet is your, I guess that would be your doves. Your quail are what come up off the ground, right? So your quail would be your skeet. Where are ducks at? Ducks come up off the water and go away from you. So I guess trap is kind of like ducks. And then skeet would be more your birds that are coming out of trees and coming across in front of you. So if you're walking through some trees and you got stuff coming up from, you know, above you or maybe at your shoulder level and shooting off in front of you, that's where you're skeet. So that's more like your doves and stuff, at least out here. And then 5 stand is more like sporting clays where you go out and you encounter all different kinds of clays doing different things from bouncing on the ground to shooting towards you. And you take all those different kind of actions and stick them into one bay and then you shoot them all right there. You don't have to walk between them like in sporting clays. So 5 stand is really cool.
Yep. Yeah, I remember learning what 5 stand was and finding out that we already were doing that, me and my buddy, when we would do sporting clays. There was always that last station that had a whole bunch of launchers, and we would just stay there and make up our own stuff and just, like, you know, do whatever. But apparently we were doing 5 stand. We just didn't know it.
Yeah, Tony keeps saying that skeet's easier than trap. I don't know. I've always found trap to be way easier, way easier. But maybe it's just a interaction with the gun type thing. Maybe some people just are better at some things. Like some people like golf, and some people don't. You know, I mean, some people are going to be easier at tracking something going away. Maybe.
I'm not sure.
Right, well,
I didn't see any other types. I don't know. I think your thing won, and unless does anyone want to, in the audience, vote for what they like?
yeah, they're all going to vote for trap. It looks like. All right. Well, so you can have 2 plays in trap. I mean, like, typical trap want to start having 2s, so doubles. They don't even have shooters.
So, all right. So we solved competition.
Yep, there you go. Now you know.
Everyone can go shoot action 2-gun or whatever the heck it's called. Actually, that's a good point. You know, you said the dude invented it in one place and then moved someplace else and got people interested, and they tweaked it a little bit. So that's something. If you have an area and they don't have the type of stuff that you think sounds neat, you know, I'm guessing it just takes a handful of people and a range that's willing to let you set up there, and you can start your own thing.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on where you're at and how much what the situation is, because it'll go with ebbs and flows for sure. But typically, the range in your area that has some kind of matches, and then your best thing to do would be approach that range and find out if you wanted to do another match, what would be involved. And they might say, oh, great, we've got 18 people waiting. We were just looking for the 20th person or something. So, or you might find that they say, you know, you're going to need to have this, this, and this. So that would be your best bet, because a range that already is doing it is going to obviously be able to understand what you're trying to do. But sometimes if a range isn't even doing it, it's worth asking them, because something like that could have been a thing for years, and then the guy who was doing it moved, or retired or something. You know, you never know. So, yeah, I agree, Smeg. That's a great point. If somebody isn't doing what's awesome in your area, then change that and make something awesome happen. It's literally just a couple of people that make all these things happen. It's actually kind of scary when you think about looking into some of these competitive organized things. It's usually just a couple of people that are really the backbone of it. And like I say, sometimes they'll get sick or retire or move or whatever, and then there's just not that person who's willing to put in the time to get there early and schedule all the stuff on a Thursday when, you know, fill out all the forms and, you know, that kind of stuff. So all these things can use as much participation as possible. So I guess we're going into the gun of the day. Every day we come up with a gun, well, Bob does, and I don't know what this one is. What is this gun?
This is the Bullard large frame lever rifle. It's one of the early lever action guns, which I thought was kind of neat because you were talking about lever actions. It's a very high-end gun. It was directly competing with the Winchesters early on. The problem was it was more expensive. It was a much nicer manufacture, and you know, they used better wood on it. It was just generally a higher quality, which of course priced them out of the market. But yeah, really interesting gun. You could get it in, it was much stronger than the Winchester. You could get it in a 45-70. You could get it in even up to a 500 and something proprietary cartridge. He made about, I think, 4 or 5 or 6 proprietary cartridges, all up there, you know, in the 40 caliber type range and higher. But yeah, just a really well-made gun, beautiful workmanship on it. Yeah, just an interesting and one of those ones you never hear about. Yeah, I mean, we all know about Winchesters, we all know about Marlins, the Henrys, but there were a lot of different manufacturers back in the day, and some of them made really high-quality guns. They just happened to be, you know, there's either something wrong with them. In this gun's case, it really didn't have anything wrong with it. It was quite well designed, quite well built. It was just, you know, a little too expensive.
Doesn't even have its own Wikipedia.
No, it's pretty rare. But
I have absolutely no information to add to that. I've never heard of it before.
Wasn't I screen sharing?
No.
Oh, it was screen sharing. There it is.
Yeah, good gun.
It looks wimpy. I was trying to figure out where it was made, but I can't find a Wikipedia thing on it.
I'm not sure.
Look at how delicate you're saying it's so strong.
It is. It's much stronger action than the
Look how many screws it has. It must be strong.
No, screws are an indication of weakness. Those are holes. And they're not even speed holes because they're plugged up with a screw.
Please.
All right, well, and look at this guy. He look real happy about having it. He's like, man, I got this Bullard. Man, this guy's like, dang, gotta sit next to this guy with a Bullard. Dang. That's what they're saying.
He's sad because he doesn't have
one. Sure that's not just because they have to sit there for an hour or 2 hours for the picture to render.
Yeah.
Look at how pointy these bullets are. I don't think that's the same gun though.
I don't know. I don't know if that was a Bullard. I don't
So
know if that's a Bullard. Yeah, but anyway.
Yeah, anyway, exactly. That's the gun of the day. Have Bob to blame.
Yeah, well,
Weird
it's
gun.
something different.
So every day we also like to feature a gun shop. So I've been driving around in the van and found this little store. It's more like a country store than anything else, but they had a couple of guns. Dana's not here, but they also had a place to sit around eating coffee. So let's watch a movie. All right, this will be a no falling asleep and no reading. Pay attention. Quick little review of a store called the Country Store in Quemado, New Mexico. Not sure if I'm saying that right. Anyway, it's just a little store. This little hunting town. The place you might stop to get some gas if you're out there hunting. They've got a little bit of everything. It's a country store, so it's kind of like a hardware store and a gun shop and a convenience store all mixed together. You can get some coffee. You can hang out there. There are a few guns for sale. There's some ammunition and some parts. There's also school supplies and household goods, so a little bit of everything. Food, of course, as well. Anyway, little store out in the middle of nowhere. We're looking for these kind of places for the Gun Show Loophole Tour. If you know places like this, let us know over on Gun Channels. As always, thanks for watching.
The guys and gals of gunwebsites.com encourage you to take a CCW class.
So I posted that on the Instagram the other day, and it turns out our friends at BMC have been there before, so they must have gone hunting down in that area. It's next to the very large array that Bob hates so much, so he probably went through that store, though. Do you remember that store?
I think so, yeah, I don't know.
Because Bob's huge-ass camper and gas-guzzling Dodge truck basically means he has to stop at every single gas station along the way. There was a town, so I'm sure he stopped there. But do you remember that spot?
I don't know. What town was it in?
The very first town going towards Arizona after the very large array. So it's called Quemado. I don't know how to say that. Quemado. So anyway, that's what
I think I saw that. Yeah. Yeah, I remember the wooden Indian.
So this had a gas station down the street, and then that was it. So I stopped in here. I was looking at it because I wanted to see if it was a gun shop. It said hunting and fishing there, but I suspect their coffee was not good. But I was going to be curious to see if you stopped in there and got coffee or not.
Yeah, probably. Any place had coffee, I usually stop to get it.
So then you go from this town, the next town over. Where's this echo coming from? The next town over, once you get into Arizona, is a little tiny town that had a gas station / restaurant, and it was kind of like on the corner, and you walked into the corner of the building. I don't know if you remember that place, but I stopped and got coffee there, and it was like the worst coffee I think I've ever gotten on the side of the road ever. And that was depressing considering it's out in the middle of hunting country. You'd think they'd have coffee down.
You'd think. I found a lot of bad coffee on the road.
All right, well, that's our gun shop today. I know it's more of like a hunting shop, but I think sometimes those can be kind of neat. This one was kind of busy, actually, for being, what, a Tuesday? Or was I there on a Saturday, I guess? So I don't know. Maybe it was a time when people were driving through town or something, but I didn't have a chance to talk to anybody. I didn't have a good picture of it in there, but they did have, like, almost like what your grandpa would have in, like, his hunting cabin, like one of those glass cabinets that you can put long guns in. They had, like, one of those, and then it had some guns in it, and they had tags on them. So I think it's more of like a consignment place or something like that. I don't know if it's actually a gun shop as much as just a gathering place for the guys that are hunting. So it's almost like having a bulletin board or something up, like, here's a gun I have for sale. And then if you wanted to buy it, they'd probably call, Charlie over and he'd sell it to you or something. I don't know. So anyway, kind of a little store, and I figure there's got to be neat ones like that out in different hunting places, little gems out there. So if you know about stuff like that, that's the whole point of the tour. Since we're going to be heading out here sooner than later, I think I already mentioned the cards are imminent. I am going to grab, am I still screen sharing? I think I am. So I'm going to go over and grab the Gun Show Tour website, and there's a page on there where you can suggest a gun shop. And I'm going to encourage anybody who wants to participate in the tour and get your gun shops recommended to jump over to this link. It's just a Google thing, so fill out your name if you want. And then as much contact information as you can for the store, basically where it is so I can find it. And Jimmy's helping me with that, and we will take all suggestions into the planning so that we can find those places that how to get the audio in. Is the audio not working?
No, it is. I think he's wondering how you did it. I think, doesn't your mic just pick up your speakers?
Oh, when I screen capture like this and play? Yeah. Little store, this little hunting, I'm just playing it and it's picking it up, I think. I have to turn the volume up, that's all. Okay,
so it's like the opposite of trying to get rid of echo. You're basically forcing it to echo.
Yeah, basically. Except if you guys all mute, then it doesn't echo, I guess. I wish I could say that it was something I set up or I know what I'm doing. It's just my laptop happens to just be really user friendly as far as the mic and the speakers when I wanted to play that kind of stuff. All right, well, that's the gun shop of the day. We try to feature a new gun shop every day, and people have been sending them in. We're going to be going around, driving around a lot more, so hopefully that'll become a really interesting part of the show. We'll try to do some interviews as we go along, and you know, I'll get better at taking pictures, and I'm going to try to get consistent with like taking some pictures of the doors and the fronts of the buildings and stuff, so that there's some actual comparisons that can be done, you know, with the product we'll end up with, all the different pictures. So, what do you guys want to do next?
What else is there? Movie?
I shoved this one in here. It was actually from down the list, but I haven't seen it. So we try to feature a gun-related movie every day. This one must have been suggested. It's called Max Payne. Sounds like a video game.
It was a video game.
Yeah,
I thought it was pretty neat.
I think I might have seen it, but it couldn't have been that memorable. The name's familiar, and I think I remember seeing a movie that was kind of cheesy. But yeah, I don't remember much about it.
Yeah, he's like a assassin dude or whatever, and you can kind of like slow time down or whatever, which is kind of neat. And I watched it once. I mean, I was familiar with the video game, so it was one of those like, oh, I know this game. And I watched it once, but I have to say, yeah, I also don't remember the movie like super good.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to say that kind of gives me no choice but to give it a thumbs down, really.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Angry Sane is a detective. You're right. Sorry. See, that's how much I forgot about it.
Yeah, so that's what I want to say about that. Thumbs down. Max Payne. Wasn't even good enough to remember.
I have not seen it, so I don't have anything to add.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to give it a down, but I don't know if it even deserves a thumbs up. I feel like if you're familiar with the game, you might be like, oh, that's kind of neat, but you probably would have already watched it by now. I guess if it's on, I wouldn't necessarily change the channel, but I wouldn't go out of my way to find it either. Well, not really a glowing review from me.
Well, you can give it no stars, and like you say, that's not like saying don't watch it. It's just like saying don't put effort into watching it either.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm giving it a eh.
All right, so we will continue on. Normally, we try to find a movie that we've all seen and that we can recommend, like yesterday with Taps. But what are you gonna do? So we do it live. So if you ever want to suggest a movie, though, it looks like as I'm scrolling through the cheat sheet where we schedule the show out, not much in there. So if you would like to throw some in, I did see some emails came in overnight, so there might be something in there about movies. But always looking for help scheduling out the show. So if you want to participate in that, you can email us at dailygunshow@gmail.com. We always appreciate it because that's what makes the show interesting. Otherwise, well, if you've been listening to the show, you know our tastes, and you'd be getting the same 10 movies and same 10 guns over and over.
Yeah, I just want to at least give it a fair shake. Angry American says cheesy but entertaining.
Sometimes those are good if you're not trying to sit down and be amazed or sit down and have like some kind of complicated plot unfold in front of you. You just want to veg out or something. Sometimes it sounds like that's the kind of movie that you just watch and don't have to put much effort into it. Like I say, I've never seen it. All right, well, let's remember lessons from today's show. We don't want to boycott YouTube. Just a big corporation trying to get along, do their thing.
We want to boycott every other gun company because
we want to boycott gun companies that even slightly like betray the Second Amendment. We don't have any amount of tolerance for that. We're going to talk about what's on gun channels tonight. Problem is we don't know what's on gun channels tonight, not because we're ignorant, but because things are in flux right now. So it's Friday, and this show will end because that happens. And then I think Edge of the Night will be on, or Edge of the Week will be on sometime later. But normally we would have a CloverTech show on, and we don't know what's going on with CloverTech. So why don't you give us some heads up if you're out there? Here we go. He says he'll probably hijack the Ghost Tactical YouTube channel tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern and simulcast it to the CloverTech Gun Channels page. They ain't going to stop him. So hoorah, and continue on with that. So if you want to watch the CloverTech show, just tune into Ghost Tactical's channel. It's no big deal. And
well, I'd say the best way to do it is just go to the CloverTech Gun Channels page, because as long as the video is embedded, it doesn't matter where the hosting's coming from. You're going to see the newest and greatest video.
All right. So while you're not boycotting YouTube, let's remember that we're all going over to VidMe because we hate YouTube now. So you might want to check out vid.me. It's a place that is another platform. Seems like the cool hip place to hang out now. But pretty simple to move your videos over. We talked about it in some of the other chats. So check it out if you want. Of course, check out Gun Channels because it's way better. We're not trying to prove nothing. We ain't hosting none of your videos. We're not trying to replace nothing that's out there because we don't try to fix their mistakes. We're making the next thing. A place where content creators can get together, collaborate on projects, share audiences, a place where audiences can get together and watch honest, authentic content being created. It's not being sponsored by anybody. There's no agenda. And hopefully people aren't just shaking their fists at the clouds all the time just to get ratings or something. It's seems to be pretty solid content for the most part for most of the creators over there. So encourage you to check that out. We will be off for the weekend because this is when we spend all that money that we make and travel, loose women, expensive wines. Then we come back on Monday and start to gather up all that cash again. So that'll be episode 386. Uh-oh. We're going to have a special nerd episode.
Why? What's 386?
Oh, guess we don't have enough nerds here. So it'll be episode 386. It'll be Monday, so that means we'll talk about social media. Looks like we're going to talk about branding. And then we talk about the events that are coming up. So we don't have a movie.
I got something real quick.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I noticed that the NRA carry guard thing is going on.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Mel the Nut is at there. So.
What the hell was that? Oh shit! I gotta go look at my lens. I'll be back in a minute.
Okay. Yeah. So you were saying what about Mel the Nut is going to be where?
At the NRA carry guard conference or whatever the heck they call it.
Oh, what is that?
Well, the carry guard's their new like CCW insurance thing, and I'm not quite sure. Maybe Mel can clue us into what type of stuff they have going on there. I was trying to go up and see if he said something about it. He mentioned something earlier, but
Wine, Women, and Song. What could be better?
Yeah, NRA Carry Guard Expo is what they're calling it. I don't know what that means exactly, and so
I did put it into the calendar over on Gun Channels because somebody was talking about it yesterday. Was it somebody on CloverTech's chat?
Possibly. I know Mel's the one that's been talking about it a bunch. So.
Oh, 386, the computer.
Yeah, were you new to computers or something?
No, I had a 386.
It's the ultimate processor for a minute there.
Yeah, for a minute. That was about it.
So anyway, that'll be Monday. Maybe we'll bust open some RAMs. DOS, Windows 3.
I think I had a 286 first, though.
We'll do a Windows 3. I'll do the whole episode in Windows.
I have a copy of Windows 3.1 still in the packaging somewhere.
Just bought it last week in Canadian computers.
No, I bought it and then I put Windows 95 something on my computer after that.
This thing's got AutoCAD. Didn't we? This Maggie doesn't even know what AutoCAD is.
Oh, whatever. Dork.
He's in the automotive business. They're still using 386s. They're so behind the times in America.
Ooh. All right, well, I'm having fun looking at 386 stuff, but that'll be episode whatever next week. And that made me, whenever you said something about history there, made me think we didn't talk about gun history today. What are we doing? We're doing a disservice to our audience. So let's see, we got over in the gun history cheat sheet over here. Anything good? Nobody else ever looks at this. I always have to be the one that looks at it.
Oh, I thought that was your thing. It's what you like doing.
I don't mind having handling because I'm lazy. 1980, Zimbabwe joins the United Nations. 1981, Voyager 2 made its closest approach to Saturn. The 1991, the Airbus A340 made its first flight. Ironically, in 2012, there was severe flooding in Myanmar. So
Myanmar.
why doesn't Houston copy Miramar?
Used to be Siam.
And Sean Connery, James Bond, born today in 1930. Is he still alive?
Yes. Sean Connery, I think.
Yeah. I think so too. Gene Simmons, Elvis Costello, Rachel Ray, all born today. Interesting. So nothing good. Sorry, there's no gun history. Wasted everybody's time with that. But that's what happens. Sometimes you get golden nuggets of gun history, and sometimes you get brown sloppy lumps of nothing. That's what happens when it's live. All right. So let's see. Got a TRS-80 handheld. No, I'm with Tony. I have two compact luggables. And I was thinking about ripping apart one of my luggables and turning it into some sort of car computer / like a lot of storage. I would only need to put a tablet in there. That would have a lot of storage. But I don't know if it's worth destroying a luggable, if they're worth anything anymore. They might be worth something because it's gold. All right, well, so there's nothing else going on out there. It sounds like my dog's about to hurt himself trying to climb over a piece of wood that fell over. And we talked about next week already. This weekend is tomorrow, so Saturday mornings we got Travis, who does That's Right Caliber Corner. And then you have That's Right Rick does Rick's Life as I See It at That's Right Class 3 p.m. So you're all getting lazy. You're all looking at the clock. It's last bell on Friday. None of you are paying attention. We're out of here. But you're waiting for the bell. They're all waiting.
They're putting their windbreakers on. You never know.
Oh shit!
No.
We know we're paying. We're even mentioning that. He's
Don't
not
do
here.
that.
We're allowed to say windbreakers to get their hopes up.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I don't even want anybody. What happens if something like what happened? Oh, I didn't want to talk about it. All right, so I think we're finished. We're officially done everything we are obligated to do via Patreon and other laws. Again, we want to mention it's ultimately important that you do not boycott YouTube. It's also important that you boycott YouTube and go over to VidMe. It's also important that you boycott all gun companies that slightly offend us in the gun community.
Yeah.
And also important that you support your local gun companies and whatnot, and the gun community at large. Let's not eat each other.
Let's just remember one thing. My dog is now throwing his dog dish up in the air because I forgot to feed him, so he's hungry. So let's get to the quote here. All right.
Canadian Dog Podcast.
He's hungry. This one's by Theodore Roosevelt. Before that, I just want to say thanks everybody for watching and listening. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Peaches Maggie. So anyway, here we go. Theodore Roosevelt. Every reform movement has a lunatic fringe. Isn't that the truth? So on that cheery note, I want to say thanks everybody for watching and listening. We'll see you on Monday.
gunwebsites.com encourage you to take a CCW. The guys and gals of gunwebsites.com encourage you to take a CCW class every year, practice at least once a month, and carry every day. Thanks for watching gunwebsites.com.